For the auditor and I are closing out the 15-16 school year, okay? So he was in today, and we're working on some things, but by and large, the operations part, revenues and expenses, probably won't change. It won't amount to any kind of little ripple. This will be all balance sheet, generally accepted kind of accounting entries. But let me tell you, remember, you think back, and I'll give you copies of this. There was that spreadsheet we had about the potential deficit. We planned on a deficit of $1,663,000. The budget difference between revenues coming in, expenditures going out, and the money we have on hand that would fund some of this. Well, we know we had committed fund balance, so of that negative 1.6 million, we were going to use 304,000 from our committed fund balance for those old ERIP program. We decided that we were going to use 156,000 from our assigned fund balances to pay for that first ERIP, the new ERIP program. And there were some projects, gym floor, the possibility of, well, the high school entrance, not the possibility of it. Some things we didn't do, like the middle school interior gates, Roughdale bathroom partitions, salt dog spreader for the maintenance department, a writing machine, and $220,000 for technology. You know, first year of the Chromebooks. That was $442,000 of projects that we were using our assigned fund balance. So our projected actual true operating deficit was $660,000. Well, closing out the year, our total deficit, revenues coming in less expenses going out, our total deficit was $471,678 versus the $1,663,000. Okay, and that's what we're shooting for. All right, we don't want to see this happen. That's why we watch. Okay, I get a little gruff with people, but you know what? You know, we want to preserve our money as long as possible. So when you think about, I said that in the email to Bob and Jack. When you think about the actual deficit that had occurred, okay, and you add back those items that we knew we were going to use our fund balances for, we actually had a operating surplus of almost $401,000. All right.
Where did we get that money back from?
Well, we had a better than budget forecast in total local revenues. The positive balance there in local revenues was $96,616. So, you know, almost a full percent better. Remember, we planned a state revenue budget on a guess. Remember, there was no state budget by the end of June of 2015. Hell, there was no state, excuse my language, I'm sorry. Heck, there was no state budget by the end of August or September or October or November. So we were very, very, very conservative of what we thought we would get from the state. So we actually garnered $16.1 million in actual state subsidies versus what we conservatively planned on at $15.4 million. So state subsidies actually came in $715,000 greater than what we forecasted, but we had to be very careful, right? You certainly don't want to over forecast your revenues and come up seriously short.
But why are we so far off on that?
Why were we so far off
we were
on
looking at
that?
$1 million something, and then we got it down to 400. How is it that we can't anticipate better? 700,000 is a lot of money.
He doesn't have first of all.
Well,
$700,000.
go ahead. Please
Well,
step
it
in.
depends on what Harrisburg decides.
Well, the actual budget deficit that Jim's talking about, the 1.6 million, okay, that's including having spent the money on all the IRFs, which we have already assigned to that long before. We knew we were going to take that out of the general fund. We know that's coming out. We've already voted on doing it. So really, the actual budget deficit that we expected last year was about $660,000.
Right.
And what we ended up with was about $470,000, Jim?
Right.
Right. So yes, we didn't we ended up with a smaller deficit, but the fact still remains, we ended up with $500,000 that we had to spend from our savings account.
Right.
That we have to take out of the general fund to balance last year's budget.
Right.
As opposed to having taken out $660,000. Yeah, we did save money. We still took $500,000 out though. How many years can we continue to do $500,000 before the general fund balance has no more money to take out of it? And that's the question. I mean, that's where we come. And what we're saying right now, to get back to the prior topic, is that we want to find another way to take money out of our operating expenses by adding another expense of renovating a building. And that's what we're saying. And in uncertain times when we don't know how or where we're going to be getting any money from the state.
Jim,
Again, I don't want to be.
Legislature, do you anticipate that we're going to get anything? Because I don't.
You can't.
I mean,
You-
we've seen
What-
their attitude that they take, and I tend to agree with it. Live within your means, but they're not going to give us any money.
Well, they're not giving us the means to live within.
I think that's why they make us do a lot of the decision making.
I think what they want to do is they want to destroy public school systems. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's what their intention is. Whether that's true or not, I mean, that's just the way I feel. But with this measure this alert that came out today, well, it's a pretty scary scenario where they're going to take away our school taxes. Forget Act 1 index, that gets taken off the table, those exceptions that they allow. In other words, you do an Act 1 budget, you have to have your budget done this month and approved next month, and that opens up a thing called the exception window. And then you could apply for exceptions which allow you to raise more than your Act 1 index. People won't love to hear that, will they? Oh, you can't live within your index, now you want to raise more. Well, they're going to take that away too. So again, how do you even contemplate budgeting when they're talking about wiping the slate clean and coming up with a whole new funding system, which would mean a whole new distribution system, a whole new way to subsidize schools? My God, I don't have that kind of crystal ball.
So back to
If I
our,
had that kind of crystal ball, I'd be on Wall Street smoking big cigars and probably visiting Don Trump at his Trump Towers.
so back to our previous discussion. Do you want to hear some pared down options from Johnson Controls for next week?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see, other than the 147,000 that they're saying we'll have to come up with each year, we would like to see how far they can get that down with just the things that we absolutely, positively cannot live without.
All right, I'll have
Which I
them.
guess would be the boilers, and obviously you can't do any of that without an upgraded electrical system.
Boilers, electricity, and air.
And the air
Yeah.
conditioning. So.
Which is what I originally
Right, exactly.
started this whole conversation about
Let's take care. Let's
that
take
long
care of the
ago.
primary sector, right.
All right, so we'll have them back here next week, folks.
Is there any interest
Good
in
discussion.
the board meeting at the primary center next Thursday, like 5 or 5:30 before our meeting, just to walk through that building and see what is in there, what's being used, and different things like that?
You don't have to convince me. His report was very good. It is a dump. I don't
No,
have to
I-
go
no, I
through
mean
it.
as
I
far as
believe
substitutes.
it. I absolutely. You don't have to convince me. I believe it. It's not the question.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's ever been in dispute.
Yeah.
10 years ago, and I brought that up, what the board over a decade ago said it needed redone. And they said,
Right.
no, we're not going to do it. 2 reasons.
No, I mean back to
Money-
Jack's question of how many classrooms are being used there so that people can say, well, there's a lot of stuff being
There
used.
will
Not,
be in use.
not just there, but throughout the whole district. So that's a half a day. It's a half a day tour. So
Yeah, I mean,
Call me.
Yeah, and I
We'll
don't.
go.
I personally don't. I don't want to. Mike. I don't question. I've been through there. Actually, Jack took me on a tour through there, and I've been in there with Dan. So I believe all the classroom spaces being
I'm
used.
talking about district wide.
Oh.
That's a half a day.
Again, I think that for me, that's not a matter of, I believe that every classroom is being used For you and I, the difference is, could I make classrooms larger and thereby make more classroom space? That's where our difference is.
Right.
Not that every classroom space isn't correct. I don't believe, I don't know if Ken thinks that's what's happening, that I could go through here or the high school and say, well, no, look at that, there's an empty classroom, nobody's using it. I don't believe that's the case. I believe we use every single inch of the space that we have.
Well, we don't. We have a third floor of the high school.
Well,
There
that
is
besides
extra
that,
space.
yes, I know, but again,
but not
generally
enough.
speaking, the
But not
elementary
enough.
school and middle school here,
Yeah.
it's all being used, and same with Alton, it's all being used.
So there are no takers on that tour of the facilities?
Anybody wants it, it's fine.
I thought everybody wanted to, 20 minutes ago.
That was to look at this school and the other school. I thought we were talking now
He asked-
about
He
Elverton.
asked if you wanted to.
I'll tell you, I'm an open book here, so what do you want to see?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood Mike.
Well, Mike said
I'm just throwing
Alverton.
an idea out there.
I said, we got to look at more than Alverton. If you want to look at
absolutely.
stuff,
I'll come in for that, yeah.
then that's going
I
to be
thought we were
about,
just talking
we're not
about
going to do that in
Alverton.
an hour. We're not going to do that in an hour, so.
Name the time.
Is there interest in anyone?
And I don't think we have to go through Elverton. We already know about that. What we need to do is take
Well, you need to know how much space is being used at Alberton, so when you go to the other buildings, you
basically
know
14
what's there.
classrooms.
No, there are 14 regular classrooms and an autistic room and a speech room
A
and a
computer
reading room and a computer lab. So you see, that's where the programming comes in. It's not a matter of
Well,
a
you know what?
one-to-one
If we're going to do all
correspondence.
this, then include Elverton.
When would you like to do it?
So is there interest or not?
During the day, I'd prefer if
Yeah.
you can. I don't care other than that. Just tell me when so I can mark it on my calendar.
You're gonna do it during the-
Pick a good day. I'm here every day.
Don't look at me, Mike, I don't need to go on the tour. I believe everything that was said here tonight.
Hey, I think if you're looking at how the space is being utilized, I think you need to see it when it's in operation. Walking through after school when school's closed, that doesn't give you the picture.
It's a good idea.
I mean, you want to walk through, what's happening at SES and here. I think you need to walk through and see it. I mean, obviously we'd be as quiet as possible. You don't whistle through the halls like I do, but
Let's meet here Wednesday at 12 o'clock.
me and my two ladies, we take up a classroom. You want to take us out? You can move us up to the high school.
Okay, let's put
we
it
got-
out there.
I mean, you're
Wednesday at noon.
Jason, are you interested in?
No, I took on the first invite and we moved the administrators. That's when I toured the facilities. So now I'm not involved.
Cheryl, are you interested?
I'm interested, I can't come.
You can't.
She's
can't
interested,
come
can
during
come
the day.
during the day. Gail, are you
That's
interested?
fine. I mean.
And we can- We can do it twice for those who, I have no problem with
I
that.
believe you, Jack. I would go if everybody else. Go at the same time I can go.
Wednesday at noon?
Like I said, not for me,
Chuck, Wednesday at noon? Butch threw it out, Ken?
We'll meet in my office for anybody that's interested Wednesday at noon. Might even get you a corn dog or something.
And as Jack said, anyone that wants to, can't fit that schedule, just let him know, but, new business policy manual, section 200.
Yeah, we'll ask that you approve Section 200 of the policy manual. Mr. Botonic handed me this evening and all of you the legalities that concern him and a couple of typos. So I would recommend that you look through those for next week. If we are in agreement with the policies as they have been rewritten along with Mr. Botonic's edits, then you will be asked to adopt them.
Any questions on that? Hearing none, deletions and retirements?
Yeah, there are some, again, that are redundant, some policies as we're updating. So you'll be asked to delete several policies, 213, 225, 252, and 253, because they're covered in other updates.
Questions? Revision to wellness policy?
Yeah, our food service department was monitored recently, and they had requested the monitors that we add a sentence to our policy. So I've included the policy on your board docs. It's there for you. And on page 4, item 3A, the revision would read, all competitive foods available to district students during the day shall comply with nutrition standards mandated by current USDA guidelines, Child Nutrition Acts and regulations, and the voluntary competitive food standards from PDE, the nutrition standards for competitive foods in Pennsylvania schools as applicable. So it's basically a one-line addition there, or revision.
Questions? Seeing none. Agreement with Mount Aloysius College?
Yeah, we've been looking for the last year into college and high school, where students can earn college credits while they're in high school. We're looking at Westmoreland County College. That's what we're called now, right? We've looked at Mount Aloysius. We've looked at a couple others. Tanya, can you just maybe give us a brief executive summary of what's going on with that at the microphone, please?
We've talked to Mount Aloysius, we've talked to the community college, we've talked to a couple of other schools. As of right now, Mount Aloysius is ready to start with us. They work with our program, and the students pay $55 a credit, and the credits can transfer into other colleges as well, not just Mount Aloysius. And this is the way a lot of the schools are going at this point. This is giving our students the opportunity to get college credits while they're sitting in a high school classroom, and that way when they start college, they're ahead of the game, and it's saving them money in the long run as well.
Questions on that, folks?
Who's teaching these classes?
Our teachers.
Okay, so they're trained by Mount Aloysius?
Yes, the Mount Aloysius looks at their syllabus, and they work with them, and then our teachers teach the classes.
It's going on in many of the other districts in Westmoreland County.
Oh,
We've been
almost
a
every
little
district,
bit
yeah.
behind in getting this started. We talked to Westmoreland County College a couple of years ago, kind of got the ball rolling, and
Yeah,
so
there's
now
been
we're-
some changeover in their departments there, so
Right.
we are back and talking to them again as well.
So we're finally ready. So in the future, we'll probably have 3 or 4 other colleges that we're going to ask you to approve, but right now we'll
Right now,
start
the
with
Mount
Aloysius.
Aloysius is ready to sign a contract
Right.
with us right now, yes.
Questions on that?
Mr. Santamon, is there a limit to how many credits they'll let them actually get while they're still here?
As of right now, they just don't start before their junior year.
Okay.
So, and there are certain classes that the classes at the high school that are comparable to the classes that they have, as a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a specific number of classes.
Okay.
Primarily, I think it would be a lot of our AP classes, correct?
Close, yeah. Then a lot of our science classes, some of our literature classes. Yeah.
Other questions?
Math classes.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Overnight trip?
We'll ask you to approve 2 overnight trips. One is for Caroline Bailey, who qualified for district course this year. And then the second one, April 21 and 22, to New York City for the musical arts and senior course students. They'll be touring Madison Square Garden, dining in Times Square. They'll be participating in a Broadway classroom workshop. They'll also get to see Cirque du Soleil and School of Rock, the musical, on Broadway. So we would ask that you approve those as well.
Questions? Overnight trip for wrestling team?
Right, these are all based on whether or not we have qualifiers. There's a list of dates there for overnight trips for the championships that would be approved for those who qualify.
Prayer breakfast?
Right, the annual prayer breakfast is January 27th, starting at 7:45. We usually send our student reps there. Any of our exchange students are eligible to go. I usually go. Mrs. St. Amant chaperones the students who go. And we have 2 members from our association who are going. It's a joint venture between education, business, and labor. So each year it's focused on something, and board members are invited as well. So if you would like to go, there's information there. Please let Peggy know as soon as possible, because they're already calling and saying, how many are you sending? It's usually a pretty packed venue there at the Ramada.
Questions on that? Need a motion to adjourn for personnel
In litigation.
and litigation? Need a motion first? Motion by Mrs. Rhodes, second by Mr. Beistel. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 8-0.